Welcome to a new Extrarunde of Biathlon with Ron and Hendrik. Today, the interview with Elvira Öberg, the fastest girl of the new season. When will she capture her first World Cup victory and how does her development affect the relationship to her sister?
Hendrik, it's Friday and we are back with another episode of the Extrarunde. And this time with us, it's Elvira Öberg.
Yeah, welcome to this special Extrarunde. Elvira Öberg from Sweden.
Yes, right, Hendrik. And I don't know if we are pronouncing Öberg right in Swedish. In Germany, we say like Öberg. But I think in Swedish, it's like Öberg. She said it in the end of our interview.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's Elvira. And yeah, the fastest woman in the world right now. She had crazy skiing times in the beginning of this new season. And this interview was on Wednesday. So one day before the second sprint of the season, and there she also was the fastest girl on the track. Today, when we are recording this year, the sprint is already done, and so she had the best skiing times in 3 out of 3 races. So that's a similar start for the Swedish team last season, but I think 3 out of 3 races and the best skiing time, that is something new, especially for her, and she's only 22 years of age, Hendrik.
Yes, Ron, that's correct. And her time margins are ridiculous. But let's see if she can keep that pace up over the whole season. Last time she got a little dip in her shape at the end of the season. So that will be exciting to see.
Yes, and in the interview we asked what she can do to hold that shape for a longer period of time. And if she already is thinking which achievements might be possible in biathlon for her in the future. And Hendrik, what is the reason why she's so fast?
Yes, Ron, that's a good question. So, guys, stay tuned. And we also wanted to know, how is the relationship to her sister Hanna Öberg when the younger one overtakes her older sister in skiing times?
Yeah, is there a rivalry or are they still good friends? Also outside of biathlon. But yeah, I think we shouldn't talk anymore, Hendrik, because we talked a lot in this interview and... Let's jump right into it and listen to what Elvira has to say.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, the first week in Östersund lays behind us, and with us today, the fastest girl in the world at the moment, Elvira Öberg. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Elvira, that was really a tremendous start by you on the tracks last weekend. But how are you feeling today, 3 days after those races?
Yeah, it's been a crazy start, and yeah, I'm feeling good, and I'm looking forward to racing more since, well, the shape is good, so it's always fun to race at that time. So yeah, I'm just very looking forward to the second weekend here in Östersund.
Okay, Elvira, so let's start with your roots in biathlon. How did it come that you are a biathlete today?
I've been skiing like forever, since I could walk basically. But I actually started biathlon quite early. Me and Hanna, our dad, started the local biathlon club when I was like 7. So I've basically been, of course, in the beginning, I just kind of went along when Hanna went to the trainings and so. And of course, I thought it was fun, but I did a lot of other sports also, like soccer and cross-country skiing and orienteering and yeah, all kinds of stuff. And I didn't really choose biathlon until I started the ski gymnasium when I was 15 or 16. So until then I was doing a lot of other things also. But yeah, it's skiing and so has always been a big part of our family and so it's been quite natural to just... in the beginning, I just went along with it, basically.
Okay, so that with 15, that was the first time you had a rifle in your hands?
No, when I was 7.
Okay.
But I didn't really choose biathlon as my main sport until I was 15, 16, something.
Okay. So we want to go a little bit through your career and we picked out some highlights of your career. So the first big thing was maybe the Youth World Championships in 2018 in Ottepe, where you got 3 gold medals out of 4 races. And in our podcast, we got a lot of junior and youth world champs. And of course, those medals are special for them at the time they've won them. Yeah. But now you are in the World Cup. And what are your thoughts today about those medals? Because you're competing in the World Cup. Are they still special to you? Or is it just like, yeah, it was nice to have, but it's, yeah, not anything for today, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I mean, like you said, at the time, it was really special and it was quite funny because this Youth World Championships was like just a few weeks after the Swedish team had their huge success in Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
And the first race was on my birthday, and the whole year I'd been joking like, yeah, I want a gold medal for my birthday present.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to win the gold on my birthday, and also after this huge success for the Swedish team in Pyeongchang.
Yes.
So it was really special, and then it just kind of went on with the relay and the sprint. So it was a pretty huge at the moment, and it meant a lot to me. And I think it meant a lot to me the coming years after also. The year after, I didn't have as good of a year, but these medals basically took me into the A-team at an early stage. So I think they have been important, but now when I look back, it's not that I count my medals and like, yes, they are super important. But I'm really happy that I have them, because it was a really great experience being there and doing those performances.
And was your success something special in the Swedish media in 2018, next to all the things that happened in Pyeongchang?
Yeah, well, I think it got a pretty big thing because Hanna's younger sister, since Hanna had done all these huge results at the World Cup and then Pyeongchang. So I think a bit thanks to that, it got a pretty big thing. So media liked that connection. But it was, of course, it's not as big as if you're racing on the World Cup or something. But it became a little bit of a thing, yes.
For sure. The season 2019-20 was your first World Cup season, and you had great results in that season, at least for a junior athlete, I think. But overall, you were around the 20th or 30th place. So how did you experience that season with those results?
I've had that year, I had a really, really good summer, and I developed and evolved a lot during the summer, and I did some great training and took huge steps, especially in the skiing. But during the summer, I was never thinking that I was going to race the entire World Cup season. We were still looking at the Junior World Championships as the main goal and so. But then I did some really good results on some test races and so in the end of the training season. So I actually got the chance to be in Östersund, and that was like huge to be able to race there. And then I did really good. I had a 12th place in my first World Cup race, and I was so happy. And I got to race the relay the same week, and we went on the podium, and it was crazy. And then it just went along, and I got to race the mass starts and everything. It was I couldn't have imagined it during the summer, but I had taken so big steps that it was all of a sudden this was my level. So it was a crazy year to like every time I did something great, it was like, whoa, this is really good.
Yeah. And wasn't it hard for you to not be able to run into the top 10 like you were used to in your younger ages?
Not really. I've always like looked up to the World Cup, and like these are so good, and you have to be really, really good to do good results in the World Cup. So it wasn't. I was quite calm with that, because I always thought that no, this is not my level. They are so much better than me. So it was. I think I had like a good approach to it also. And
what do you think you have learned in that season for the Elvira you are today?
I learned a lot to race that much, since I got to race the relays and the mass starts and everything. So I did a lot more races than I was used to do the years before. So just that thing to race almost 3 races every week, that gave me like a lot of experience, how the body is responding and how to reload mentally and everything. And also to be able to come to a world championship and be there and race there also like gave me a lot of experiences, and I learned a lot.
Okay, let's jump to the last winter. You got your first podium here in the second sprint of the season. Yeah, that could be a thing we should remember for later. You were third here with one mistake, and Hofilsen was great for you too. And that was the first time, I think, that your skiing time went through the roof. So did you already feel that you were able to do that in front of the season 2021?
I mean, I had also last year a great training year, and I took big steps also last year physically, and also improved my shooting. And since we have such a good women's team and we train a lot together, you know your level quite good. And that's a big advantage that we have since we train a lot together. So, of course, I knew that if you're able to like be in the top of the team in a session, you know that this is really good. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I knew that I have a higher level now and I probably can do pretty good races, but then I have to be in good shape and shoot good. So it's not that easy, but I knew that I had the capacity in some way. But the first weeks in Kontiolahti and Hochfilzen, they were crazy. Like I said, I've always looked up to these girls and that are in the top of the World Cup, and they've been my idols and everything. And now all of a sudden, I see my name at the top of the course time lists, and I scored a podium with the mistake in the sprint, and. It was really crazy. So even though I knew that I had the capacity, it was a bit unreal to actually do it.
Have you ever been injured in your career or in your younger years?
Not really. I've been quite lucky. I had some in my earlier years as a junior. I was sick quite a lot. And so I wasn't a very good junior in the beginning. I was quite bad actually. Because I was sick a lot, and I struggled with like consistency in the training and everything. But like since I got on the A team when I was 19, everything has so far been going according to plan.
Yeah, very good.
And Elvira, can you tell us a little bit about your summer preparation for that winter?
Last winter.
Yeah, like the summer 2021.
Yes.
This summer it's been also really good. The plan was to, since it worked very good last year, we didn't want to change that much. So me and Johannes, the coach, we sat down and we were like, yeah, it worked out pretty good. Last year I took some huge steps, and I was healthy and I wasn't injured and everything. So we just decided to build on to that, to just up the training where we could, but to more or less stick to the same plan as last year. And it has been working really good. I've been able to do almost every session according to plan, and I'm super happy that I've managed to do that. And I'm really proud of that. To be able to follow the plan was the goal, and I managed to do that. And we had some great camps, and also this year we managed to go to the higher altitude also. So it's been a really good year, and we had some great weeks in Idre on early snow also. So it's been it's been a good training year.
But last season you also got some physical problems, or how should I say it, where your ski times went a little bit down till the end of the season. So what happened here?
Well, that's a good question, but the evaluation said was that probably it was quite normal because I'm still so young and I don't have all these years with good training that like the others have, or a lot of the others have. I'm 22 and they have maybe 5-10 years more training than I have. So probably because of that, I don't have as enough years with good training to be able to keep the shape during such a long season as we have. So we were actually quite surprised that I managed to keep the shape for 4 weeks before Christmas. We were like, we'll see how long this would work. But it actually worked all 4 weeks before Christmas, and we were a bit surprised about that. So we were kind of expecting the shape to not be like in the top the entire season.
Okay. But how was it mentally for you to don't have that capacity to be able to run into the top 5 or something, or have good skiing times anymore?
It was a bit frustrating, of course, because before Christmas I could be on the podium with a mistake in a sprint, and I was in the top in most of the pursuits and in the mass start also. So of course it was a bit frustrating that, well, now I'm shooting good, but I'm not skiing fast enough, and I have been doing this before Christmas, so it was a bit frustrating. But I had quite good skiing on the World Championships, but then the shooting wasn't good enough. So it went a bit up and down, but I had some good skiing races after Christmas, especially in some of the relays that kept the mood up, basically.
Okay, let's look at the first week in Östersund. You placed 18th in the individual with 5 mistakes and 8th in the sprint with 2 mistakes, but you were twice the fastest woman with the best skiing time. So what do you think of your start?
Of course, I'm not that satisfied with the shooting. I know that I can do a lot better than what I've done so far. But the skiing has been, I'm super happy with the skiing, and it's a bit unreal to look at the numbers and to see that I've been the fastest and with a good margin also. It's like I said, I've always looked up to the fast skiers and everything, and now I'm there. So it's and I'm still not that old, so it's it's been really, really cool, and a bit starstruck of myself almost. But then also it's a bit frustrating that I haven't been able to shoot just a little bit better, because I know that I don't have to do a perfect race to score a top 6 or a podium. I just have to do a decent shooting. So it's a bit of a new situation, but I try to only look at it in a positive way, because I know that if I'm skiing this fast, the good results will come, because I know how to shoot.
You seem to be in great shape. You already showed that 2 weeks ago in Idre, where you had a really good individual race. Do you think that was the best race of your career so far, where you shot clean and won easily, I gotta say?
I think so. I've shot 4 zeros once before in a race, so this was the second time ever. And the skiing was, it was super good, and it was the best race of my career so far, definitely. And I'm super proud of that race. That I managed to. I had a pretty bad sprint I had 3 mistakes in the sprint the day before. So that I managed to turn that around in just one day and shoot 4 zeros. That, I'm really proud about that.
3 mistakes, but you got second, right? So crazy.
I had good skiing that day.
Oh, yes.
But why couldn't you repeat that shooting in Östersund last weekend?
Yeah, good question. But I think it's, of course, I knew that it would be difficult to shoot 4 zeros 2 races in a row. But of course, I wanted to do better than I did on the individual. But I think it's a bit difficult to say what it was because of. But I think maybe I was a bit nervous, a bit tense, and it was, I had also it was a lot of close misses also. So it might as well have been quite good shooting, but I was not, I think, as relaxed as I was in Idre. And so I think that was part of the why I missed. And in the sprint, the first sprint here in Östersund, it was also both misses was just outside, so it might as well have been 1 or 2 more hits.
Okay, yeah,
that's biathlon.
Okay, yeah, true. Sounds like a mental thing, but okay, we talked a lot about skiing now. So skiing everywhere, and of course that's your strength. But do you know why you're so fast?
Not really. It's it's a good question, but I think it's because I've had a lot of good years with good training now. I've been healthy, and I've been able to do really, really good training with a lot of good company on the training. Also, we have good sparring since we train so much together, and I think the rest of the girls on the team are a huge part of why I'm skiing this fast now. But why am I skiing this fast? I don't really know. Of course, I have good feeling on the skis and everything, but it's a bit difficult to say, because I wouldn't say that I have the best technique, or I'm not the strongest in the gym or anything. So it's a good question, but I know that I have a good capacity. It is very high, and but it's still a good question. Why me? A bit.
We also thought, you might have been always one of the fastest in your younger years, but we looked through all of your older races, and we have seen that you have not always been one of the fastest in your junior IBU Cup years. So do you think it's just that you have been healthy for some years now and that you could train like never before, or do you think it's just like a genetic thing or something?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, but of course the training has been a huge part. But also I think that I have, or that's what one of my coaches usually say, that I have this smartness in the training, that I know when it's an important session and when it's not an as important session, and I know when to focus and when to really put everything in it, and when I can relax so that I have the energy to really focus on the important sessions. And then you can't be 100% on the entire time. That doesn't work for me, at least. And then I use this. I know when it's an important session, and when I can relax a bit more and just do the training.
And Elvira, does it feel different to step into a race today versus the time where you have not been that fast? So is there a difference in the feeling on the skis?
Yes, a bit, I'd say, because when you're tired or feel that you're not in shape and not skiing as fast as you can, because the body doesn't want to, you feel that you're slow and you have to really fight for every meter. But now when I'm going out on the track, I can just push and I can follow my plan, and it's so much easier because you can just ski. You don't feel nearly as tired as you do when you're in bad shape or something like that.
Even though you're so much faster, that's crazy. But as you said, it's biathlon, so it's not cross-country skiing. And so what are you doing to be as good at shooting as you are at skiing?
I have improved my shooting during this summer. I just haven't shown it yet. But we have been... What my thing was last year was that I was also quite slow on the shooting range sometimes. I'm not nearly as fast as my sister, for example. But so we've been working on that, and I know that I have a high capacity in the shooting also. It's just that I have to get the consistency because I'm not there yet, and the shooting doesn't come as easy for me as the skiing. I have to work a lot more with the shooting to feel the confidence and to keep a good consistency with a high hit percentage. So I have to work a lot more with the shooting than I have with the skiing. But it's been this summer, it's been working really good with our shooting coach, and I have a new rifle also. So we've done a few changes, but nothing like drastic or big. The rifle is not, it looks a lot different, but it's not that different from the one I had last year. But we've just tried to, a bit like the physical training, we just tried to build on from what we did last summer.
But I thought that you had really good range times last weekend, right?
Yeah, especially on the individual. Yeah.
Would you change some skiing speed in order to have some more percentages at the range?
At this time, yes, I think so. But in the meantime, I'd rather have good skiing times and just hit a bit more than to have all these hits and have a bad skiing time, because I find it's easier for me to hit a few more targets than to ski 1 minute faster. It's easier to change in one day. So it's, of course, I want to hit more, but I rather have it as it is now, that I know that I'm skiing fast. And I know that I can shoot better. So it's easier to fix the shooting than to fix the skiing, at least according to me.
Okay, so I think let's go to another topic. Lots of people are saying, and I think you also hear that a lot, that you might be the next big star in biathlon. But what do you think when you hear that?
Of course, it's fun when people believe in you. It's you, and of course that's what I want also. But I haven't really thought about that much, and because what drives me is that I want to become a good biathlete and the best biathlete that I can be, and then we see what that is in the end. But of course, that would be a dream come true, to be one of the big stars, and so of course I want to do that. But when people talk, you get more people look at you more, and everything. So it's a bit of a special situation. It's a new situation for me. So it's a bit special.
Mm. But do you sometimes imagine what might be possible for you in biathlon in the future?
Yeah, of course. Of course, I dream about what I want to do and what I can do and everything.
Yes.
So it's, but I try to not get too carried away.
What is that?
Well, I want to be one of the best. I want to race for the yellow jersey, and I want to take the big medals.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's focus on the upcoming months. What are your goals for this season?
I don't really have any result goals. I don't really work like that.
Okay.
But I want to, the main goal for the season is to feel that I've taken another step from last season. And of course, I want to be able to keep my shape better the entire season than I did last year. And have a higher hit percentage. So I want to see that I've become a better biathlete, basically.
Yeah. So we just talked to your coach Johannes Lucas 2 weeks ago and asked him if he thinks that you will claim your first World Cup victory this winter, and he said yes, you will. So when will that happen?
Yeah, good question. As soon as possible, if I can choose to. Of course, I want that, and I know that I now have the capacity to do it, and it's a special feeling to have that. And before, last year I also had the capacity to do it, but then I was also more depending on what the others did. Now it's more in my own hands this season, as long as I'm skiing this fast, at least.
Yes.
It's in my own hands, and that's quite a good feeling to have, that I can just 100% focus on my own. And if I do a good race, I know that it will be a good result also. So hopefully that win will come soon.
And is that some sort of pressure for you?
Not really. It's more that I want it, and I want to work towards it. But of course, it's a bit difficult to ignore that fact, because we all want to score good results, and everybody wants to win or be on the podium or top 6 or anything. So it's a bit difficult, and it's a new situation. I still only have 2 individual podiums, and so it's not like I'm one of those that have won all these races, and so I have to remember myself, or remind myself that I'm still me, and I want to work from where am I standing, and what have I done, and what do I want to do, and how do I do it.
But can you really shut that off in your head, in your back head, or what do you say in English? I don't know.
It's difficult. Hopefully I can. But it is difficult because now I know if I shoot clean in prone in a sprint, I know that if I'm coming into standing, and I know that if I shoot clean now, I know it will be a really good result. And to be able to shut that off, it's really difficult. I think it's almost impossible. I think you just have to accept the thought and just go back to focusing on what I'm supposed to do and not what it can lead to.
Yeah, I can imagine that is pretty tough when you're going to the last shooting and you hit all targets before and you will win if you hit them all. And is that something that comes to your mind when you're at the shooting range at the last shooting?
I haven't been there so far this winter or last winter also. So I don't know how it's going to feel, but probably the thought will cross my mind, especially during the lap, maybe. Yeah. But like I said, I think I just have to work with what I'm going to do instead of thinking what it might lead to.
Elvira, last winter you already started in the blue bib for a long time. Is that something that's interesting to you?
Yes, of course. It was a lot of fun racing in it last year, and I wasn't expecting to race in it last year because I have a lot of years left to be able to race for the blue bib, and a lot of the big stars were also in contention for the blue bib last year. Yeah. So it was really cool to be able to race in it. I remember after the first race, I was like, "Oh my God, I have the blue bib!" It was really cool, and I was expecting to maybe race with it 1 or 2 races. And then I thought, well, the better athletes one of those will take it. And so it was a really fun experience, and hopefully I'll be able to contend for it this year also.
Yeah, I think you got some more years to get that blue bib.
Yeah, exactly. I have 2 more years after this one, so there's no hurry.
True. So I think with time you're getting more dangerous in the World Cup, and even for your sister Hanna, you're some sort of rival now, at least in biathlon. But how's your relationship outside of biathlon?
It's good. But there were a few years, or quite a lot of years, when we didn't have as much contact because she went to the ski gymnasium, and when she finished, I went there. So it was basically 8 years when we didn't spend as much or almost any time with each other. Yeah. Of course, shorter periods, but we didn't live in the same town. But since I got into the A team, we've had a really good relationship and a close relation. So, and we have that today. So I'm really happy about that. And we can really help each other, both in the training and outside of the training. And it's a special situation, of course. But I think we decided that we wanted to really take advantage of it, and that we want to work as a team and help each other.
And what does she say when she sees that you're faster than her now?
Well, it was actually a bit. It wasn't the easiest thing in the beginning. I think everybody who is a bit older sibling, nobody wants to get beaten by their younger sibling. So of course it was a bit of a special situation in the beginning when I started skiing faster than her sometimes. But that's basically when we also decided that we talked about it, and it was, this might be how it is sometimes, but we want to use it in a good way and use it to help each other and to get stronger, both of us. So, and I think it's working really good, and I've had so much help from her all these years, and now hopefully I can give something back.
And can you tell us the things you have learned from her?
Well, a lot. Definitely a lot. even from before, when we were in the A team, before we went to the A team, I've always, since it's 4 years between us, so she is quite a lot older than me. I've always looked up to her, and she's always given me like an insight to how it is to be an athlete and everything around the trainings also. Like how do you do when you're on a camp to be able to train as much as possible, and what do you do to just like the insight into the athlete life basically, and all those little things has helped me a lot and given me, I think, a head start to a lot of the others in my age, because I've already known a lot of things that you usually learn on the way. And I've been able to get that experience from Hanna before I'm there. So, and then of course, since I got into the A team, she's helped me a lot and like been a support and also a safety. It's it is a bit of a luxury to have someone within your family with you all the time. So it's been really good for me and very helpful.
And what did she learn from you, or maybe is learning from you?
I think one thing that I can take a bit of credit for is that she's been improving her final laps. It's always been one of my strengths, and now on the trainings, when we've been able to really push each other on the interval sessions and the races, I think she has managed to step up that part of her skiing. So I think I can take a bit credit for that one.
Okay, tomorrow is the next race for you, the sprint, and it's again in Östersund. And as I said earlier, it's the second sprint of the season. Yeah. So Elvira, what can we expect from you here?
Hopefully I can make ski as fast as I have been skiing the first 2 races, and hopefully I'll hit 1 or 2 more targets also. But my main focus will be 100% to do my race. The races before, I've been, I think, thinking a bit too much about the result, and now I know that if I do a good race, it's enough. And I've been doing a lot of good races on training and also on intervals, so I just have to do what I know that I can. So tomorrow I will focus 100% on myself and just do what I'm doing on the trainings.
So how do we go into such a race? Is it just full speed from start till the finish line, or do you have any other plans?
It's of course I want to ski as fast as possible from start to finish, but I think one thing that I'm going to do is maybe take it a bit easier into the range to feel a bit more confident, to not get defensive on the range like I did on the last sprint, and just do the work there and not be afraid on the shooting range and just do what I know that I can do. So that is something that I think that I'll maybe change from the previous sprint, but otherwise it's just to follow my plan in the tracks and ski fast and shoot clean.
And how is it when you have a bad day on skis? Do you have the same approach here?
Not. I try to. It's of course it's a bit difficult when you feel already in the beginning of a race that I don't have the day today, and then you have to kind of work with what you have and not get stressed up, I think, and try to follow the plan and especially ski smart. Maybe not go the fastest in the uphills, but to do good corners and everything, to try to ski efficient and not waste any energy on stupid places, basically. But you have less margins, so you have to really ski smart when you don't really have the day.
And you said one of your goals is to hold your shape over a longer period now. So do you think that's possible for you this season?
Hopefully.
So can you feel that, or is it?
I hope that I can do that, since I've had a great summer once again, and that's given me I'm 1 year older. I have one more year with really good training, and I've had a really good consistency on the training the whole summer, and I've held a good level. So I hope that I can keep a good level for longer, at least this year, and it will be exciting to see how well I will be able to keep the shape.
Okay, Elvira. So at the end, we got a little section, questions that we always ask our guests. And the first question is, do you have any rituals before the start of a race?
Not really, actually. I'm not much of that kind of person. So I don't really have any strict rituals.
Okay.
What's your favorite World Cup venue except of Östersund?
That's difficult. I almost have to say Kontiolahti because I had such good races there last year.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's difficult. I think I have to say Kontiolahti.
Your favorite racing format in biathlon?
Sprint or relay.
Okay. Prone or standing shooting?
Standing.
And what is the coolest thing about biathlon for you?
That you can't make a result list just by looking at the starting list. You don't know anything until the race is done.
And what annoys you the most about biathlon?
What?
So what's annoying for you in biathlon?
When you have a close miss, when it's 1 millimeter out. Like the small margins is a good thing, but it's also really annoying also.
Mm-hmm. And until this point in time, what was your favorite moment in biathlon?
When we as a team managed to secure the Crystal Globe last year in the relay score.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So did you have any role models in biathlon or outside of biathlon? Except of your sister, maybe?
Yeah. When I was little, I was actually a huge Björn Dahlen fan. Mm-hmm. He was one of my biggest idols. So I have to mention him, yeah.
So now you can put together your best biathlete in the world, and it doesn't matter if she or he is active, inactive, a man or a woman. Which attributes would you take and from whom?
The confidence of Sebastian Samuelsson. The skiing from Björn Dahlen. The speed of the shooting from my sister. Mm-hmm. And the hit percentage from Lägred.
Oh, yes. That's good.
Good point. And imagine you had a big billboard in a big city. Everyone can read it. Which message would you write on that billboard? And it shouldn't be a commercial.
It's a bit of a quote that I use or like to think about. And it's to do your best regardless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think something like that.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that are also great final words to conclude this episode. But Elvira, tell our audience where they can find you if they want to know or see more about you, like your social media pages and so on.
My name is Elvira Öberg on social media, and where it's easiest to find me is on Instagram. I also have a page on Facebook, but check me out on Instagram. There's where I'm most active.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much. It was very insightful. And I hope you will stay healthy and have a good sprint tomorrow and maybe have good Olympics. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. We hope you liked the interview with Elvira Öberg. If you want to know more about Elvira, follow her on Instagram or Facebook, but also follow us on Instagram and share this episode with your friends. All of the links can be found in the show notes. Thank you very much, and till the next time.